this was just, is the vendor, is this WJLTW? Where the business is located is my question. WJLTW, is this a Maywood-based business?
It's a business that provided food, trustee. So this be the part when I say it would be great if we could ask staff these questions not in a board meeting, because then they can pull it up. It's a homeownership program dinner.
I know what the vendor is.
Right, I got you, trustee, but it's like those gotcha moments, like
specific for the vendor itself.
finance is gonna have to get you that information.
Okay, that's a good response. I look forward to receiving that information. And my next item is 118859. And it was listed under a wellness fair. And I want to just get some clarity and justification as it relates to, was this event hosted directly by the HR department for employees, or is this was this a village event?
I mean, this is the employee wellness fair. That's why it's under HR.
Okay, so directly for well, that's why I was asking just for clarification.
It's budgeted and billed to HR.
Okay. And that is all. Thank you.
Okay. 9, President's Report. Does anybody have any questions for anything in the President's Report?
Mayor,
Trustee Sanchez.
can you elaborate on the star bond?
So it's not saying that we are actually going out for a bond. It's acknowledging that we are interested in exploring the option of a star bond. You have to submit a certain form by a certain date for the state to acknowledge you are interested in learning more about it as a possibility. At any point in time that we came up to do a bond, it would be a much bigger conversation. But this is just an opt-in saying we are interested in this type of bond to learn more. Trustee, sorry. Trustee Jones.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe just to elaborate a little further, because like this particular type of bond, why, so it seems like within the next year or so, we would have to have an open meeting. Are there any ideas or any projects that are coming down the line that would have us, entertaining this type of bond? Or why are we interested in potentially even
So the
taking
village
out this
of
bond?
Maywood is eligible to offer bondability. As we explore the possibility of bondability, there are several projects that it could go towards, but I don't want to sit there and say something as if we're actually trying to fund something right now, because we're not. I say all the time, if we don't fix our infrastructure, that's a $400 million bill that goes up to $700 million by 2029. So it's nothing that we're saying we're doing, but we're interested in it. That's all this is.
Okay. And then I guess in terms of just things that we would need to be prepared for, Ms. Captain, do you know as far as?
The bonding company, at the time when we talked about bonds, we would have a whole workshop to talk about bonds. We would do a whole conversation on all the different type of bonds that could exist. This specific bond just has to be an option of saying I'm interested in this bond. It's not saying that we're not going to learn about multiple different bonds. This specific bond just has to say we're interested, not that we're committing to anything at all. So to ask any questions aside from saying we're interested in learning more is a preconceived notion that there is a plan for it.
Well, I guess, do we have to pass this in order to learn more?
Yes. You have to opt in to be interested. No different than we have to.
It's an exploration, you have to opt in to explore.
As a possibility.
Attorney, could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So if the village is interested in learning more, as the mayor is saying, or reserving this as a possibility, you have to send a notice of intent to the state by June 1st. And so that's all this is authorizing us to give that notice of the intent to the state. It doesn't mean anything beyond that. It's no guarantee of anything. It's just reserving your right to pursue this in the future.
And I guess my last question, and I just had it, so I apologize. So if there's a threshold amount, like in order to qualify for this or to utilize this bond, you would need to, like the investment would need to be of a certain dollar amount. I think I saw somewhere about 30 billion. Is that, attorney, are you familiar? Does that sound about accurate? So let's say we are interested in something. That means we would be interested investment where we would utilize this bond for $30 or plus million. And I'm only asking just because, I mean, there's a lot of financing tools that we could utilize. Typically, when you are interested in something, there's, you're just not doing it just because of technicality. There has to be something that we're preparing for. So I know the mayor mentioned infrastructure. So that's one thing, whether it be roads or lead water lines or this on the campus or the municipal campus. I'm just just trying to lay it out. We are moving forward. I mean, we're moving forward saying that we're interested in potentially taking advantage of it. I guess I just want to make sure that's lined up. So is there like a minimum amount of investment that needs to be utilized in order to utilize or use this bond?
So trustee, this is simply saying that we're interested in learning more, and you're asking questions like you're learning more right now. We are simply saying we are opting in to learn more. So to learn more is when those types of questions get asked, when we learn about different types of bonds. If we actually are interested and have an appetite to take bonds out, at that point in time, there's nothing to lay out right now, what you're saying, because this is simply us saying we're interested in learning more. So the questions of learning more, everything you're asking happens when you actually have a bond.
No, I get it. I guess,
But you're trying to lay something out that's not to lay out. You're literally just saying, I am interested in learning more. So any question past, I'm interested in learning more, would be you learning more at a later time.
right, I mean, we have to vote yes or no on the trade omnibus agenda.
It's an opt-in.
Right, so we have to,
You can pull it if you like and vote on it separately, trustee. It's literally an opt-in to say I would like to learn more. So you're asking questions because you're inquisitive. And
Right,
because
well,
you're curious, right? So to
yeah.
be curious, you have to want to learn more. So this is you simply saying, I am under no obligation to do anything at this time, but at a later time learn more. That is it. That is all that's happening today. You are not solidifying saying, so we're going to do this for this. We're going to do this
I
for this.
understand that. I mean, we still have to opt in. So there's some sort of action we have to take in order to do the, I just saw it. I mean,
Yes, I want to
Trustee
learn.
Sanchez asked the question.
And it was explained. He's just wanted an explanation of it. You're asking, you said you want to lay it out. There's nothing
No, I don't
to
wanna-
lay out. That's what you
May
said.
I just finish so that we can get past it? That's all.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of laying out some of the just criteria of it, because we might have to entertain this later on down the line, in a year, 2 years, et cetera. So, I'm just calling out some of the points, because everyone doesn't read the board package. So
But once we actually had bond meetings,
if
those points
we could actually get through this if you stop interrupting me, sir. So yeah, I just wanted to call out some of the things that I just noticed in the bond is that some of the plans that you have to do. The Star Bond District Plan is a high-level plan which identifies at least one major development user, such as a hotel or entertainment anchor, that will invest at least $30 million into a project and provide data demonstrating the proposed district will meet the economic floor set in the act. So there's $30 million in private capital investment. So I just want for the community, that's something that, in order to take advantage of this, that we would have to be entertaining in a year or two.
Looking forward to learning more. Is there anything
Mayor.
else? Trustee Brandon.
Yes, item 9F. 9F, as it relates to the clerk's request for a vehicle. As elected officials, we have a fiduciary duty to protect the taxpayers of the village and to ensure that every dollar that is spent, that it is spent responsibly. That responsibility is not optional. It is a fundamental part of our positions as village officials. I want to be very clear. Providing a village-owned vehicle to a part-time clerk is not responsible of use of public resources. It creates unnecessary and ongoing costs, from fuel to insurance to maintenance, all paid for by our residents. There has been no compelling justifications presented that supports this level of expense for a part-time position. we also need to acknowledge the broader context. This board has already approved a salary increase for this role and is covering health insurance benefits. At some point, this board has to say enough is simply enough. If we continue to say yes to every request without drawing clear boundaries, we fail in our duties as stewards of this village. If it is our job to make difficult decisions, not popular ones, in this case, the answer should be no as it relates to providing the clerk with a village-owned vehicle. It is irresponsible, and it gives to me that we are like children in a candy store, and we're just trying to figure out how far we can go as it relates to the use of village resources and village dollars in this community. And I could go on. And when I was reading this, I said to myself, myself said, huh? I said, how far are we going to go? And it's giving me, like, part of my stomach kind of like balled up, because it's giving like, I'm like, wow. And I cussed when I was reading it. I'm like, okay, we got insurance going on, we got salary increases going on. We just must have a money tree somewhere in the village where we can go and pull dollars down for things that we want. It is irresponsible for somebody to even think that a part-time clerk needs a vehicle. In that case, we all need vehicles here. If we got it like that, every single part-time elected official needs a car. It's like Oprah. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. That is simply irresponsible, and I was shocked to even read it as I was going through this board packet. And it was my hope that these individuals that was elected to be stewards over the village finances be the leaders they were elected to be. And just say no. You just got to draw the line sometimes. You just got to draw the line. You know, and just, to me, is giving, you know, what we just trying to figure out how we can go. No one is saying no. And we're going to spin it all up like we got it to spin. And, you know, it's just a free-for-all. No checks and balances, no guardrails. None of that is happening at this current juncture. So again, it is my hope that these individuals that have been elected to be fiduciary stewards over the village's finances and resources do their jobs and say no as it relates to giving the clerk who is part-time. I don't know, since I've been watching this government, and I've been watching this government since I was in 7th grade, that a village clerk has ever had a car. You know, and it just brings a lot of questions to the table as, you know, just what are we doing or what are we thinking when we put these things or bring these things to the table to begin with? Are we even thinking? You know, and yeah, that's just my stance on it. But we're gonna have to vote on it because it's on the agenda to be voted on, and it's, you know, kind of like compiled or mixed up in all of these other things, you know, as the last item on there, but it most certainly stood out to me as I was reading about the request. And the request, I mean, the response should be no from this board because they're responsible for the village finances and they need to do the right thing.
Okay. So, trustee, this is when I say a board meeting is not the theater, because that's all you just did.
You call it
The memo says,
I call it being responsible.
trustee, the memo says, vehicle maintenance and fleet operations to support the clerk's office functions such as records transport, community events, training, and interdepartmental coordination. We are proposing that the current vehicle being utilized for the clerk's office operations be officially designated to the clerk's office. So for you to do all of that, the vehicle is already with the clerk's office.
And it should not be.
Listen, trustee,
Then we'll not let
I let you
Go
speak.
ahead.
You
Go
just
ahead.
go, and you go, and you
Go
go.
ahead.
And I do not interrupt.
Go ahead. Well,
Right?
it's
So when you think about
Order,
it,
trustee.
Go
so
ahead.
trustee, when you think about it this way,
Go ahead.
When you say to yourself, and yourself says, you hired a community engagement officer in the clerk's office for the first time. So you have a new employee who is a community engagement resource officer for the clerk office. That is her job. So she has to get around town because there's the clerk's office tent, there's the clerk's office information, there's the clerk's office resources. The clerk's office also has been charged with, when I first became mayor, we had 3 registered block clubs. We're working up to 30 at this point. So might they be going to block club events, highlighting the community, showcasing those types of things? The clerk's office is also engaging and launching the new ID program for our youth, which is for ages 6 and up. So the clerk's office will be going to the schools, they'll be going to the community events, they'll be getting the kids enrolled in the ID program. We also have the new home ownership program, where we're welcoming residents with a welcome guide and an invitation to be a part of a neighboring community collaborative. We also have the new business program of welcoming the new businesses, where the clerk's office will be providing the guides, all of the invoice, all of the ordinances and different things like that. All of this was in the budget you just approved in the last board meeting. So yourself saying, simply is acknowledging on day-to-day operations, the clerk's office is the one that the clerk hires and fires her clerks. The clerk's office is the one who does not report to all of the regular day-to-day operations. So the current vehicle, not a newly purchased vehicle, not a vehicle that we're going to purchase, the vehicle that is currently parked in the clerk's office right now, because the clerk has her personal vehicle that is parked right outside. The clerk's office vehicle is parked in the clerk's office at Village Hall right now.
Who authorized that?
So again,
who authorized that?
Trustee.
Not this board.
The reason that it's on the board packet for that very question is to authorize it.
No,
because
it should have been authorized before she got it.
Trustee.
It's process and procedure.
Trustee.
You telling me
You're
she got a
saying
car
her,
after
it's
the
the
debt?
department.
I don't care who car. Who
So why
belongs
don't you
to.
approve a budget for
The
all this
department
community
never
engagement
had a
stuff?
car. The department never had a
Trustee.
car, and Maywood's, at least
Trustee.
since
You
I've been watching
approved-
this government over
Trustee,
20 years,
You
and
approved
never had
the
a car.
budget for all of these community engagement things.
We talking about a car.
We are talking
We're talking about a car.
So
It
how
was not in the
okay,
budget,
so
and
let me
it
ask
should
you
be
this, Trustee.
presented to the board.
So so trustee, the reason it's being presented to the board, because the budget has passed, that includes
Try again next year.
all of these different events, right? So
Right.
with everything that's going on, how do you propose that the clerk's office gets to over 30 block clubs? How do you propose that the clerk's office, because we're saying, you keep saying her, narrative matters, right? You're trying to make it the village.
Listen,
clerk's
it was floating around the
Right.
village already that the
So-
clerk wanted a car.
so
So y'all can do a his or her car situation. I don't know what the
Trustee,
ordeal was
she's
going on.
driving her car right now. The vehicle that we're talking about is no different than the community engagement department's car that is parked at Village Hall. Community engagement has a car, the clerk's office over there has a car. The reason that it's on the board packet is simply because the clerk's office does not fall in the regular day-to-day operations, because the clerk does the hiring and firing for her department and manages their budget. So at the end of the day, are you going to take the clerk's office team to the new homeowners when new homeowners are welcome to the community? Are you going to
Why would
drive
that
into
be
new
clerk of the
businesses?
job? Why would that be? Why would that? Listen.
Because they
listen,
now-
anybody can
Trustee, you
justify.
approved this budget.
Anybody
What
can not
they're
approve
doing
a car
already.
for a clerk's department.
Trustee.
Listen, anybody can justify anything.
I got you.
Anybody can say anything to make anything make sense. And what I'm saying is,
agreed for
it
the
does not
first-
make sense. It's giving scheming and scamming. And let me go even further and say that it was whispers all across the village hall and across the village that the clerk was about to get a car. And it was a shock to me that somebody would have the audacity, the boldness to even put this on the agenda after the budget has been approved, because, what we're going to do is we're going to try to sneak it in. We're going to try to use all these words to make it make, well, I can make anything make sense. And if I'm trying to get something, absolutely I can. And so for me, again, it makes no sense, and we can word it how we want to word it. We can use whatever type of language you want to use. We can speak in whatever language you want to speak in. It does not make sense, no matter how many words you use. And the other thing is, how many block clubs do we really have? What's the actual number, the real number of legitimate block clubs that we have? And so when we start looking at the numbers, and then we start looking at, what the request is, it don't add up. It just don't add up. And I heard the whispers before it got on this agenda. And when I saw them, like, maybe they won't do that. I think they have more common sense to present such a request at this particular time, knowing that gas is almost $10 a gallon, and who's going to pay for it? The residents will be responsible for gassing up the car. As we drive around the village, all what we want to drive, have a good time, turn it up on the taxpayer's dime. Y'all go ahead. Y'all do what y'all want to do. But at the end of the day, I have a vote, and I'm going to utilize that vote, and I have a voice. And I'm going to utilize my voice that I have to make sure that the residents know that it don't make sense to me.
And you should.
Okay.
It don't make sense to me.
So trustee, as a point of clarity.
And we can move forward on that because it's on the agenda to vote on.
Okay.
And if don't know other elected bodies, elected member on this board have anything to say in regards to it, shame on them.
Okay, so trustee, I will reiterate again. Just like community engagement department has a vehicle for community engagement events that community engagement goes to, that's parked at Village Hall.
And you should even be making
Trustee.
a case. It should be the clerk making a case.
Trustee.
I don't know who wants the car.
Trustee.
It should be her. He's the one who wants the car.
Trustee,
It don't even make sense.
trustee, at the end of the day,
Go
when you
ahead.
say,
Go ahead.
gas, so you
Spin the bag.
mentioned gas,
Spin the
right?
bag.
It's
Spin the
not-
bag. Spin the bag.
Payment of the
Spin the
car is
bag.
already in the current budget, trustee.
Spin the bag.
It's not like we're going to
Yeah.
buy a new car. The car is already at Village Hall. So trustee, again.
Police officers need
Trustee, you
need
said we're
cars.
done. You said you're done.
Code need cars, not a part-time
Point
police
of
worker.
order, please.
Cove just got brand new cars in the last 2 years.
Not a part-time police worker.
Trustee, you keep referring to it as the clerk. At the end of the day,
That's who it is. Why
trustee,
you
can you
arguing it?
please?
Why are you taking the stand? It should be the clerk. It should be you.
Because your narrative is not correct.
No, the narrative is
And,
correct.
it is not.
It is correct. And
Trustee.
she should be
So let me ask you
making a case for a car that
A
she's
simple question
requesting
to you, trustee.
from this board. And then
I got you.
and then you say
Point of
to
order,
us,
guys, come on.
oh, she already has the car. It's in her. Who authorized that?
You keep saying
it
she.
goes to the whole narrative of freestyling, people doing what they want to do. There's no structure. There's no guardrails. People are just doing what they want to do. There's no order here. None whatsoever.
You're right, point of
None
order.
whatsoever.
So trustee, to be real clear, to your point, you just talked about gas, right? So the brand new.
And I'm trying to stop at the gas. I'm trying to stop at the car and not go beyond the car.
Trustee.
That's what I'm trying to stop at.
So
I'm
do
trying
you-
to stop at the car
Do you
and
see
not go
how when you
beyond the
speak, I
car.
allow you to
Go
speak, and
Go
then
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
always interrupt and interject?
Go ahead.
Like, that's not
Go
gonna
ahead.
stop,
Go ahead.
right?
Well, you
At
interrupted
the,
y'all,
at
but go
the end
ahead.
of the day,
Go ahead.
the reality becomes,
Go ahead.
you've already approved a budget for, for an ID card program, right? So the clerk's office, in your history since you've been young, has never had an ID program that they're going around making.
Yes,
sure-
they have had an ID program.
Okay,
That's what you don't have. That's what you don't have institutional. They
Trustee.
had an ID program in the clerk's office. Yes, they did. They
Trustee,
did. Under Rita Esther, when she was the clerk, she had an ID program.
Trustee.
I know the history. She had an ID program. She did not need a car. She used her own car.
so trustee, Rita Thester did not do driving to not.
Oh, okay, now you're gonna add on to it.
I'm adding everything that's in the budget to do.
Go ahead.
I'm
Go
not,
ahead.
trustee, you voted on a
Go
budget
ahead.
for a new homeowners guide program.
The car was
You
not
added in the budget for a new business
Sir,
program.
you-
You added in the budget for a 6+ ages
Right.
ID program. You added in the budget to hire a community engagement person.
Not a car.
So are you saying
Not
Kim
a
should
car.
drive around her
Not
car,
a
put
car.
mileage on her car and pay for gas? Is that what you're saying?
Not a car. She got full-time staff that can submit a reimbursement for gas, and they're only traveling. They should only be traveling in industrial Maywood. Have them submit a
So this is
reimbursement
my
for any
point.
gas. And I think that process is already in place.
So again, the clerk's office has a tent, has a table, has cloth, has equipment.
Oh my
They're
God.
supposed to put these things, how do you know their personal cars can fit these items?
Oh.
Mayor, trustee,
Again, I just want to make it real clear.
trustee Smiley has a question. Can we
Trustee Smiley.
Can we hear from the clerk?
Sure.
About,
Clerk Gary.
clerk, just give us a briefing of actually how this vehicle, which is, I might understand it's a department vehicle, not your personal vehicle. It's gonna have Clerk Aaron on the side, it's gonna have, it's a department vehicle, which you will use for village events, and then hopefully it'll be parked back at Village Hall. Is that correct? So can you give us an insight of how this vehicle will be used within the village?
It will be a department car, trustee. And I wasn't gonna say anything because I like to have conversations respectfully. And I vehicle trustee. And I do pay for all of the things that you spoke of. The request was because the clerk's office has a complete rollout of initiatives that are taking place in the village. I do not want to drive my personal car, or the new deputy clerk / community coordinator have to drive her personal car for things in the local community and the things that we do initially, training and other clerks events that are outside of the village. That is why it was requested. And you, trustee, if you would like a complete rollout of everything that the clerk's office is bringing to the village, I am more than willing to give you that complete rollout. It is not a request for myself, because I do own a vehicle, personal vehicle, more than one, actually. And if you understood the maintenance, I don't know if you drive or own a vehicle yourself, and I lease my personal vehicles, so there's a mileage restriction on those. So my request is for the village to take care of those responsibilities when I'm doing village work. I am committed to the village as a resident, as an elected official, just as you are, and a business owner and a taxpayer. So I'm not looking to take the village money and just run up the bag. I am very intentional about what I do and how I do it. And I stay respectful in all orders, procedures, policies that are given, that I have to abide by, just as you are. I ask you to respect the position and the office as I do you. And that is why I asked for a vehicle for the office, for the work that I was elected to do here in the village, that I will keep doing with intentions. Thank you, trustee. Thank you, trustee Stein.
Clerk, so normally what the process is when folks are, hiring people for different positions, and if the position includes like a position, I want to work in the space of like outreach and community engagement for a good while. And so normally what they require when you are, drafting up a job requirement, most jobs request that were required for you to have a car based on the functions of that particular role. And so if you have individuals within your department, or if you hired someone and they did not have a vehicle to be able to do that, well, maybe that's something that could have been placed in that particular job description. Again, I just believe that it is irresponsible for us. And then the first step is the process, right? Let's go back to the process. So we just approved the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. The proper process would have been for anybody with any requests to submit those requests at that particular time, and then this board could have had conversations at that particular juncture based on what the request is. But to come after the board has approved the budget and to come with such a request, it's just out of line with our budget time frame. And then the other thing is, for me, I just don't see just a need for it at all, just because of the role itself. Now, there's processes in place and systems in place that already exist as it relates to reimbursements for knowledge and things of that nature. But it just sets a precedence, right? That we are all at the same type of level as it relates to all being part-time elected officials. So I too can say, well, based on receiving calls all day about trees, potholes, and alleys, and even a call today about coming over to look at a street over on 20th, I want the village to incur all of those costs, the cost of all of that, for me having to travel across the village on my personal time to look at all these different things. So anything could be justified if somebody's trying to make something happen, is what I'm saying. And for me, again, the first thing is the wrong time frame to be presenting such a request. The second thing is, I just think it is irresponsible with the price of gas and everything else. And it just sends the wrong message. And I've heard this before. It got on this this agenda. I already heard that this was even coming to the pipeline, but I said, no, people gonna look at the state of the economy. Well, they're gonna look at how things are going, and look at how expensive things are, and they're gonna think, no, maybe right now is not the right time. But I guess it is the right time. And so, everybody got to vote, and I'm going to utilize my vote again and my voice to make sure that the residents know my take on the matter, because that's why I'm up here.
Okay, just a point of clarity, this is not changing the overall budget for the village of Maywood. This is not purchasing a new vehicle. This is acknowledging that we added a new role of community engagement in the clerk's office. This is acknowledging that they have different tasks and duties as a part of their jobs, not as a part of being an elected official, as a part of the department that has an approved budget of community engagement. Next, we'll go to public comment. For public comment, you just have to say your name, you do not have to give your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Phyllis Logan.
Thank you. I am Phyllis Logan. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Phyllis Logan. I'm president of the Proviso West Suburban Branch of the NAACP, and a lifetime member of the NAACP. We were reactivated. Our unit was activated by National back in October of 2024, and we have members throughout Proviso's 14 townships, including Oak Park and River Forest. And we want to thank you guys for this opportunity for us to speak. We were founded, NAACP, founded in 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, one of the oldest and the most influential civil rights organizations in the United States. Its mission is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of all people and to eliminate race-based discrimination. The NAACP began at a time when racial violence and discrimination were widespread, particularly following the Springfield race riots in 1908. Early on, the organization focused on legal strategies to challenge segregation and disenfranchisement. One of the landmark victories was the 1954 Supreme Court case, Brown versus Board of Education, which outlawed segregated public schools. Today, the NAACP remains active in addressing contemporary issues like health disparities, environmental justice, and education equality. Through grassroots organizing, legal advocacy, and public awareness campaigns, it's empowered individuals to become leaders in their own communities. The NAACP promotes cultural and civic engagement, fostering pride and unity amongst African Americans and our allies. The NAACP's legacy is built on a century of relentless pursuit of justice, equality, and dignity for all Americans. Its work has shaped the nation's laws and attitudes, and it continues to inspire new generations to stand up to civil rights. Our branch, Proviso West Suburban Branch, is currently working on a Get Out the Vote initiative, a combination of direct voter contact, mass communications, targeting digital mobilization, and SMS texting, and we're also launching our website. Support and funding is needed. Thank you. The NAACP remains just as relevant today as it was during our beginning. We invite all of you to join our branch and help us fight against so many injustices. Our national NAACP theme this year is We the People. Please visit our website, naacp.org, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Shaquana Vincent.
Hello, board. I am a new resident in Maywood. I moved from Oak Park to Maywood. I am having issues with Maywood's village because I've requested information on the home that I purchased in Maywood, and they have no information. on this house. I couldn't get building permits, I couldn't get any inspection permits. I came in and requested at least 10 to 15 years worth of information, and I was told there's nothing. The folder that they showed me only had 4 pieces of paper, and that's the 4 pieces of paper I gave them when we closed on the house. I also went through the channels of sending out a letter to like the mayor, the secretary. I spoke to the secretary as well. They did not certify, no answers. Nobody wants to respond. Nobody wants to say, hey, let me sit down and talk to you. What's going on with this property? We are having major violations. This is not an as-is home. We didn't buy it as that. This home has no records whatsoever. And we're having major issues, flooding, the roofing, the electricity. It actually blew the electricity in the house. And this was less than a week after we bought this home. These are major situations. This is not a wear and tear situation. And I spoke to several people in the Maywood village as far as the water department. They claimed they went in, did an inspection, and they did a surface inspection. I'm confused what a surface inspection is. Because there's another house that we went to see prior to this house, and they did a full inspection. So what's the difference between the inspections in the houses? You're supposed to do a full inspection regardless of the fact. And they just basically said it's like a ghost house. They don't know what's going on with the house. This is what they told me. I have reached out to several people in the village, no response whatsoever. And I'm paying taxes on a house that they have no idea what's with this house. I'm paying taxes, I'm paying a water bill, and then they came in, checked the water, and we have old water meters, and the house has been rehabbed. From what I was told, that the house is supposed to, if it's 20% rehab, it's supposed to have a new water meter in there. We have an old water meter. They came to look at the house. They said they never used that water heater in years. I also had them come out and test the water.
Time.
Hi, I just want to ask, can anyone respond to her questions?
So after public comment, after everybody gives public comment,
Then you're going to respond. Okay, my name is Karen.
are you, wait,
I'm on there.
Tina Davis.
I'm on there. I'm next to Chapana. My name is Karen Nixon, and I've been an activist for Maywood for a very long time. However, I relocated, but now I'm back. So what I want to address tonight is the property at 1018 South 14th, where there is an abandoned building. The owner supposedly lives in Texas, and it is possibly under foreclosure. There are rodents. Could everyone concerned about their property raise your hand? We've got people here that are concerned about their property. It needs to be addressed immediately. Code enforcement has to get out there. You've got rodents, raccoons, probably needles. The doors are open, the wires are coming off the electrical boxes, and who knows what else is going on. Maywood is a thriving metropolis. It always has been. There's no need for us to pause now. And thank you, Isaiah, for speaking the truth. Now we need to see some action around here because I will definitely be back. I respect a lot of you up there and you know who you are, but I still am a person who wants to do the right thing ethically and not unconscionably. Thank you. And you don't have to clap for me, I can clap for myself.
Resident Tina Davis.
Hi, recently I have posted on Facebook about a apartment, a building next to me.
would you
next
grab
to
the
her.
mic, please?
I'm sorry.
Microphone.
Next to my friend right here, at 1012 South 14th Avenue, 1014 South, and I think you have responded to it. You told me to email you. I did the pictures. There's like garbage everywhere, like mattress, old mattress. They just throw garbage back there in the backyard. So it's attracting like a lot of rats, rodents, skunks, whatever, every animal, wild animal that's back there. And it's like, his gate, it's leaning against his gate and causing his gate to fall toward, like lean toward and everything. So, I've been posted it on, the Maywood page, making complaints, nobody done anything about it yet. For like over a year now.
This the 1018.
Yeah.
First,
I'm sorry.
the first one.
Yeah, it's on 14th Avenue.
Same, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there.
Yep.
So it's terrible. It's like really, really, really bad. It's like now since it's starting to get hot, the animals is like really bad. The roaches, everything is out there in the back. She's the next on the list.
Joel Perlotta.
Oh, yeah, so my name is Marlene, I'll speak for them. They're my parents, they're fluent, not in English, but they're fluently not in English, so it's really hard for them to communicate.
What you say your name?
Marlene, I'm a little bit. So, it's been almost like a year, and my dad has been going to the village, and they just told him that they're gonna do something about it, and nothing has been done. Unfortunately, they're not fluent in English, so I guess maybe that's why they don't listen to him. But, I mean, I think now it's coming to a point that it's really frustrating. Because to be honest, he is very clean, he's always doing something. I have a Ring camera where you can see all of the things that he does and to keep the, the street clean. Even like in the front yard, the kids, they really do stuff in the, front. And to be honest, we don't like bringing people over because that's embarrassing. So I just think that there should be done something, because I mean, it's been a whole year and now I feel like I have raccoon friends now because to be honest, there's raccoons, they're sleeping on the mattress and I think that's just really disgusting and nobody would like to come home and see raccoons, rats, and stuff like that. And like I can't even bring friends because like for me that's embarrassing. Like we come home late and I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna see a rat or something? And I mean, we're not dirty people and we can, upload pictures of our home from backyard and the garbage cans, I think now it's getting to a point where the raccoons are like biting into the bins and it's just coming so disgusting right now. And I just feel like it's been a whole year and like everybody has said, we pay taxes, we pay everything and I just think that's just not fair for us, especially if we're clean people and for other people to just be careless. I just think that's not fair.
I don't think they put garbage in the front, you just dump the garbage in the backyard. It's piling up. It's like piling up, sort of piling up.
All right, so Ms. Logan, how's it going? Paid my dues. Thank you so much. Shaquana, the assistant village manager directly behind you is Tracy Bays, the one handling your case. So she has your information that has been shared with the department head. So she'll be able to talk to you more about specifically what's going on with your house. Miss Nixon, Davis, and Marley and family. So in regards to the 14th Avenue, this is a situation where we did have to finally locate the owner because we haven't given fees and fines in regards to the property. As of April 17th, all of the documents and the folders and everything that was sent was documented. The property information got notified there was like an outstanding information, so we had to relocate and find a person. So their water bill, all those things were under record, under wrong person, and under bad communication. So to follow up in regards to that, the property was advised that it was lost to a bank in a judicial sale. So the judicial sale went through like 6 months ago, so at this point, it's bank-owned, not personally owned by anybody. So the person who was on the water bill no longer has any involvement with the property. So after speaking with Cook County, we were able to deal with getting the water shut off. We have also posted on the property that it's uninhabitable. So that has been notified to the tenants to talk about vacating the property until water service can be restored. Because at this point, we don't have at that point, we did not have the actual owner. So then we had an associated realtor that contacted the property, identified as Eric, whom this tenant has stated they have been in contact with for the past several weeks. So now we have gotten in touch with the Eric gentleman due to the water shut off and the non-payment and the blank form and the current ownership. So making sure that that's responsible for restoration. On the 29th, there was the outstanding balance that had to deal with the water company. So we later got the information of Cypress Service LLC of the garbage and debris violations on the property and informed them that the village abatement has the nuisance conditions and assesses that all associated costs to the property owner if the violation is not corrected. From that point, as of today, at 12:30 this afternoon, there was a drive by the property observed the garbage and debris had not been cleaned up. So following up with the inspection and conversations with Sally and with Cypress regarding the outstanding debris, they are saying that the debris will be cleaned up as of tomorrow. So this is something that the village has been working on, having those conversations. Got all your pictures, so tomorrow you should have a different look. My pleasure. All right. Village manager's report. Is there any questions in regards to anything under the village manager's report?
Mayor, I have a couple questions.
Trustee John.
So, letter I, the fencing around the Connor Ice, the basketball courts at Connor Ice. So I just want to confirm that cost is just for the basketball courts, it's not for the entire field.
Just for the
Is it really $95,000?
It was actually supposed to be 156 was the quote that we had last year.
And maybe, so is that material, labor, like what is that kind of breakdown?
This is going down into the ground to put the poles in. This is the height of the actual court fencing. So this is the poles installation, this is the cement installation. This is the gates that do the rollbacks to be able to close them and lock them at certain times. The fence is expensive.
Well, I didn't realize it was that. Well, I'm glad.
And you gotta think of it, we're fencing in for full basketball courts.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay. Yeah, I just thought.
I was
Sanchez.
sorry, I was charged $6,000 for 20 feet. And that's cement, 6 feet, down, and that's, iron fencing.
Gotcha.
Cheap kind.
Now, I know
This
this
is
is.
by far the cheapest.
I know this is a little bit of hindsight, so don't take this the wrong way, but had we installed this during construction, could we have mitigated some of that construction cost?
It would have
You're
been
not breaking concrete, or you would have been breaking concrete at inception. I guess I'm wondering, why would it be the same cost? Like, how would it not have, or maybe can you explain to me how we could have possibly, or how we wouldn't have been able to avoid the labor of breaking the concrete if the concrete was going to be already broken during the construction process? The initial resurfacing of the basketball courts, like why we would have been charged twice essentially.
Well, I think the one part you have to look at is when all of the paving of the asphalt took place, it paved the entire area where the water area is, where the hangout lounging area is, and all of the basketball courts. At that time, that was all laid out. No different than if you're going to put a fence in your house. You want to pave your driveway before you put a fence around it. So if you would put the poles in, one, you hadn't actually measured out where the courts were all going at that time. So the pole placement and the door placement needed to happen after the actual court was laid out. Then two, you want to make sure that it's not so much into the ground that you have to dig up the whole court if you got to take up the pole. So it's, I mean, if we would have done it last year, if you looked at the quote that we had last year, it was closer to 160, 170. So, I mean, it's actually cheaper to do it based on the quote that we had last year, this year, now that the season's done, now that it's not saying, okay, let's hurry up and get this done just before the summer, but now that we've had the time to explore and get more quotes, it's actually about 60 grand cheaper than what it was gonna be.
And why is it cheaper?
Because we scouted the materials to be able to get cheaper materials to purchase it, and because just the company that we ended up going with was cheaper than the other companies that quoted last year. Last year, we had 3 different quotes that range from 160 to like 210. So I don't know if it's the quotes that came through because it's the opening of the season, so they want to hurry and get some money so that they can start doing other projects. So this is helping them get their capital. If we got the hit us before summer deal, it's just a cheaper quote. But this is a company that already does fencing solutions.
Okay, well, I'm happy to see it. It is a safety situation, so I'm happy to see it. I was curious, you know, like if you're breaking ground, it still feels like to me, I'll kind of take your word for it as far as it wouldn't have been any cheaper. It feels like if you're breaking ground, you could have done it at that time, but I'll just take your word for it. My last question in terms of the Connor Heights item is, do we have a timetable as it relates to, and then I have one more after that, but do we have a timetable as it relates to 5th and Washington, the debris that's sitting over there from the construction, when that's gonna be removed? Because we've been very on top of fly dumping, and that type of thing. We allowed a company to place it there under the impression that they were gonna remove it in a timely manner, and now we're getting to the summer and still there's, I'm wondering if we've heard of a timetable when that's gonna be completely removed, the 5th and Washington mound of debris.
Yep. So if you look at the board packet, there's a heavy resurfacing project taking place. That's the same company that's gonna be removing all that at the same time that they're doing all the ground of all the projects going on for the resurfacing.
And which item is that, sorry?
The GAK.
Is that the one, oh, so that was actually what I was going to, that letter J? The 2.3 million?
Yes.
Okay, so part of the 2.3 million is
It's the same company that's gonna be clearing out and flattening, and then we would actually put like some grass seed on the First Avenue, the same way on Fifth Avenue when we tore down that building next to Prairie Path, that's now grass. It's gonna be the same leveled out grass.
and this is the initial company that did the construction for Connor Heights.
Yes.
Okay, so,
This is the company that paved all the alleys 2 years ago.
are we paying for them to remove it? Shouldn't they be?
No, we're not. It's a part of their whole process. So ultimately, when you look at the work package, it's saying like they're doing all of the work now in May and June because the prices of asphalt and oil and all that contractually goes up at the end of May. So they're gonna lock in the rate. As they're doing all of that construction work, about 50% plus of Maywood is gonna get resurfacing through this project.
Okay.
So they're gonna clean all that up when they're cleaning it.
All right, and I did see this 2.3 million is broken down over several projects.
Yep. It's just the difference on the tail.
Right, and I was happy to see some of the zones, some of them are passive, so I'm happy to see that. In terms of, I see that we're doing a bid waiver. Typically, or one of the requests was just to have some of those numbers outlined for other companies, like how comfortable are we, or what other numbers have we seen compared to this 2.3 from other companies that we feel like this is the most competitive that we could have gotten?
So this is the same company that paid 65 alleys 2 years ago. This is the same company that had the same contract done in Bellwood, Merrill Park, Oak Park, Stone Park, Broadview. It's the same company that's based in Bellwood. So their rate is competitive because that's why we ended up taking their rate. When we did the basketball courts, this is also the same company that did the basketball courts on 5th at Standard Park on 5th and Lexington. They did that park. So we've been using them already. But looking at what they're charging per, looking at the other rates that we get, it's much cheaper than we would have gotten.
All right, could we, for future reference, add that into the agenda, just so, what you're saying makes sense, but it'd be good to be able, so we could like see it. So, just to call that out, because it's a significant amount of money coming out of our agenda. I understand what you're saying. The town should utilize it. We utilized it before. They're responsible for the pile that's there. It's just good that we can see it, like, okay, we also did call this other company and got a quote, and so we can actually lay it out. Had we went with another company, let's say they were taking too long, it'd have been $3 million, it'd have been whatever, just so, you know, the taxpayers can see that we are doing that due diligence. Even if we are going to provide the bid waiver, from a technicality perspective, it will still just be good to be able to cross-reference in the documents, in the paperwork, that we did do the work. By virtue of a technicality, we want to waive, we want to not do the process, but we did do our due diligence, especially, you know, I would say anything over, I don't know, I mean, just creating those thresholds. So that's, I think that's it. Thank you.
I have a question.
Trustee Brandon?
Who's managing, and this pertains to item J, who from the village is going to be overseeing and managing this? And the reason why I'm bringing up this question is because, and you mentioned, because we did previous work with someone, you know, I guess it could, you know, make some sense, but just from making sure that things are like transparent, making sure we are getting the best bang for our buck, that it is healthy that we do, especially when we spend over $2 million on this type of work. Yes, we know that they paved or put down the asphalt in those alleys. There are a lot of people that was not pleased of how it was done. And so who's going to be managing, and this is for the interim manager statute, because it's the operational side, who's going to be managing this from the village? And I also had concerns, not only based on the alleys, but I also had concerns even when it relates to 10th Park and the amount of money we spent on that park as well. And just for me to be honest and to be transparent to this entire board, I wasn't pleased with how the park came out. I do believe that we could have did a better job with enhancing that park. And it is my understanding that there still needs to be some repairs. So, you know, I didn't really dive deep in the issue when we were talking about Kent Park, but I'm diving deep into it this evening in regards to who from the village is going to be managing and overseeing this project to make sure that the work that is done, that it is quality work, and that it is top standard as it relates to what we all should be looking for as a village. Interim manager statute.
So, trustee, it's real simple. We have an assistant village manager of public services, that's Russell Davenport, who has over 37 years of public works. We also have our director of public works, Greg Buchanan, but Russell he's got over 37 years of service in the public service department of public works, so he's overseeing the project.
I was hoping about it, you know, with the
But
way
again, like, if you have a question for the manager, you should ask this question.
The question was an operational question, so I was hoping that she would be able to answer the
This board
question.
meeting is
So-
for the board.
So
if you have a question for the manager, you should ask the manager prior to this meeting.
No, the manager's here. So I want the whole community to be informed and involved in the conversation. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm asking this question.
Right.
I'm at work. I'm
You
clocking
voted
in.
to
I'm
approve
clocking
the
into
assistant
work.
village manager of
So,
public services who is working.
okay, so if that was the case, with all due respect, she could have said the same thing. So that's why we all are here. We all are here to work. We all are clocked in. When we step into these chambers, we're clocked in to work. If I have a question, I would hope that the appropriate person would answer the question. So we operate in the right form of government. And so again, it is my hope that this, okay, let's keep back to communication. So it is my hope that all of these resources that's going to these streets, that there is strong oversight over the quality of work that is being done. I've heard from a lot of residents as it relates to how the material was put down in a lot of those alleys. And so this evening, I'm just doing my elected job, and that is to ensure that the work that's been done, that there's strong oversight, so that we don't have the same situation where we're going to be spending more money to repair Connor Heights Park because the process wasn't done right. And so, I just want to make sure that, somebody's in place that's going to be overseeing this work, that's qualified to oversee it as well. That's what I'm saying. So, Manager Thatcher, I hope that that is the case.
Hired an assistant village manager of public services with over 37 years of public work experience, specifically to see projects like this over.
Okay, she said the same thing. Okay.
I understand, but this is a board meeting for the board.
No, this is, she got the meeting.
Thank you, trustee. Is there anything else for village manager? All right, anything for village attorney's reports?
Mayor, I have a question for the attorney. Is there an update? I mean, I thought we've been kind of waiting on this, I thought there's like an enterprise zone or some sort of, like, so is there a time, what exactly is holding this up? And is there an ETA?
Yes, sir.
It's real simple. The letter had to come from the enterprise zone. The letter's with the state now, and it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to process. I think that's the best answer. And you're asking the attorney, the only reason I know is because I actually spoke with the enterprise zone, and they told me that they're one. So you're asking him a question, but they confirmed to me that the letter has been sent. So that's my answer. I spoke to Jack today. All right, no trustee comments? No, I'm commenting when we get to the, not like, just like the report. So, omnibus agenda, I need a motion to approve items A through V. Motion to approve by trustee Owsley, second by trustee Sanchez.
Trustee,
Owsley and Sanchez.
Trustee Williams,
Wait, I'm sorry, wait.
No, she has to read and call.
Wait, what's your, you gotta read.
It's the omnibus agenda.
I'm sorry, trustee Allen.
Wait, I want to pull items, so that's why I'm waiting. So if you normally,
So
there's
trustee
a motion
Brandon,
made,
what would
does
you like
somebody
to
take
do?
the motion, and then do somebody want to pull anything?
Trustee Brandon, what would you like to?
I want to pull item L, item O, item D,
Okay.
and wait. And I also want to pull item S, T, U.
You're pulling the commissioner?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we are pulling S, T, U, V, O, and L. Please read down this agenda.
Letter A, motion to approve the monthly financial report in the amount of $1,828,184.04. Letter B, motion to approve the warrant list number 200-572 dated April 29, 2026 in the amount of $2,108,644.94. Letter C, motion to ratify the vote of the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Maywood on April 7, 2026 to authorize special class action legal counsel, the Edelson Law Firm, to opt into a participation agreement / national settlement agreement on behalf of the Village of Maywood regarding the potential settlement of a certain opioid class action litigation pending as multi-jurisdictional federal court case MDL number 2804 / case number 117-MD-02804, filed in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio, Eastern Division, and further ratify the direction given to and action taken by the Edelson Law Firm, the village president, and the village clerk, or their designees to execute and submit the participation instructions for opting in to the participation agreement / national settlement agreement, approved claim, and a participation agreement / national settlement agreement, and other related documents within the opioid class action litigation with Associated Pharmacies, Inc., and American Associated Pharmacies, J.M. Smith Corporation, Louisiana Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., Morris and Dixon Company, North Carolina Mutual Wholesale Drug Company, Inc., and United Natural Foods, Inc., including its subsidiaries, Super Value, and Advantage Logistics. Letter D, motion to waive competitive bidding and to authorize the purchase of two 2026 Ford police interceptor utility vehicles, including associated outfitting and striping at a total cost of $158,855. Letter E, motion to approve an expenditure of $6,980 for DNA analysis services through DNA Labs International. Authorization to submit evidence related to case number 22-12589 to DNA Labs International for testing and the use of fiscal year 26 capital outlay funds for payment. Letter F, motion to approve purchase of iTouch Biometrics tablet for iTouch Biometrics at a cost of $13,910. Letter G, motion to waive competitive bidding and to authorize the purchase and replacement of arbitration in-car camera evidence management service system from CDS Office Technologies of Lombard, Illinois for $35,374. Letter H, motion to approve the purchase of 2 e-bikes from Recon Power Bikes, including officer equipment and training from the Homeland Security Training Institute at College of DuPage for a total of $12,170. Letter I, motion to approve purchase of tables and chairs from Uline Products and Amazon for community events for a total of $6,654. Letter J, motion to approve the village's annual liability insurance renewal proposal program renewals as presented by Marsh McLennan Agency at a total cost of $1,880,396. Letter K, motion to waive competitive bidding and authorize the acceptance of a proposal from Gold Hammer Fence LLC for the purchase and installation of fencing for 4 basketball courts at Conner Heights Park at a cost of $95,400. Letter M, an ordinance amending section 92.28 garbage and refuse of chapter 92 health and sanitation nuisances of Title IX general regulations of the Maywood Village Code relative to the penalty for unlawful dumping of garbage and or refuse on the property of another. Letter N, an ordinance approving a property sales contract with ATCF Illinois Momentum Cust for the purchase by the village of property located at 1007 South First Avenue and for the appropriation and expenditure of Madison Street, Fifth Avenue TIF district funds to pay for the purchase of the property and other TIF eligible redevelopment costs related to the purchase. Letter P, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a term sheet and a purchase and sales agreement with the County of Cook, Illinois, doing business as Cook County Land Bank Authority for the village acquisition of real property located within the village of Maywood at 2130 South 4th Avenue, and for the appropriation and expenditure of Roosevelt Road TIF district funds to pay for the purchase of the property and other TIF eligible redevelopment costs related to the purchase and the waiver of village liens and other monies due to the village from the Cook County Land Bank Authority to allow the property acquisition. Letter Q, a resolution authorizing and redirecting the village president to execute and deliver the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and Illinois Department of Revenue, the village of Maywood's notice of intent to establish a star bond district. Letter R, motion to waive competitive bidding in lieu of solicitation of competitive proposals and to approve the award of a demolition contract to Master Guys Demolition Inc. for interior demolition work at 1100 South 11th Avenue in the amount of $24,500.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Allison.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley. Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye. L, I need a resolution authorizing the waiver of the competitive bid process and authorizing the approval and execution of a proposal and vendor contract construction agreement with GA Paving LLC of Bellwood, Illinois for the completion of 2026 street restoration program and the appropriation and expenditure of the village general corporate funds to pay for the work. Project costs $2,322,660. Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Sanchez, second by trustee Smiley. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Wait, make a comment.
Wait, trustee Brandon wants to speak. Trustee Brandon.
Again, I am most certainly concerned about this amount of money that we are spending with this particular contractor as it relates to not having a bid process in place. This is a whole lot of money that we are spending, and I'm almost reluctant to even vote yes on the matter, but I do understand the nature of a lot of folks who want something done to their streets. But that is a whole lot of money. The village should not be spending that type of money without having a bid process in place. Most certainly when we're spending taxpayers' dollars. It's just not a good practice to be spending over $2 million, regardless of the fact that we had a previous relationship with anybody. But it's the dollar amount for me that causes great concern that we have, that the process wasn't open and that there wasn't any bidding happening with this particular item. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams. Aye. Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
I'm gonna vote no for the reasons that I mentioned previously.
Trustee Owsley.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
I'm going to vote yes on that issue.
Mayor Booker.
Aye. All right, I need an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of term sheet and the purchase and sale agreement with the Cook County, Illinois DBA Cook County Land Bank Authority for the village acquisition of real property located within the village of Maywood, 114 Madison Street, and for the appropriation and expenditure of Madison 5th Tip Avenue funds to pay for the purchase for the property and other tip eligible redevelopment costs related to the purchase and the waiver of village liens and other monies due to the village from the Cook County Land Bank to allow this acquisition.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Owsley.
Second.
Second by trustee Sanchez. Please call the roll.
Question?
Trustee Brandon.
Yes, the reason why I will not be supporting this particular item is for the very reason that staff did not present to this board a best use study as it relates to this particular property. I have not seen any reports in regards to what other uses could be utilized for that land. And so anytime something comes before me about the villages inquiring land, there must be a clear understanding of what's the best use of that property. And so I will be voting no for that particular reason.
Okay, so just for a point of clarity, this was discussed in closed session at our last meeting, which is why it's on the board packet today. The best use of this property has been identified to turn it into a municipal use parking lot because there is two old apartment buildings that both have more than 20 units apiece that have very minimal parking. So this parking lot creation on Madison will help right on 2nd and Green, anybody who knows that apartment building that has no parking, and it will also help 1st Avenue right next to Sharks that has very minimal parking. So this empty lot will serve as a municipal parking lot to get people's cars from in front of residents' homes that have consistently asked, how are we gonna deal with the situation? If anybody drives down Green or 2nd or 3rd Avenue at nighttime, everybody's house has a car in front of it that doesn't belong to them. There are cars that will sit there for an extended period of time because we don't track if a car has been moved or not until it's noticed or somebody says something. So this was talked about at our last board meeting, which is why it's on the board packet. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams. Aye. Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Owsley.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
No.
Mayor Booker.
Aye. All right, I need a motion, proposed appointment to Jeffrey Eden to the Maywood Economic Development and Affordability Housing Program Board.
Let me skip that.
Q wasn't full.
Oh, it wasn't full, okay.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Owsley, I need a second. Second by trustee Smiley.
Mayor, can I ask a couple questions about this committee?
Trustee Jones.
I guess my first question would be, how many total members are we expecting to be on this committee? That's a good three commissioners. How many total members would be the first question. Second would be, how many Village of Maywood residents are you expecting to be on this committee? And then the third question would be, how do, or is it an open process as far as applying to this? Or is it strictly just by your discretion and the board has to approve it, or are there some applications where the public can apply, residents or non-residents, to be a part of this committee?
Residents are welcome to apply to every position.
Well, we can't hear you back here.
I'm sorry, residents are welcome to apply to every commission by contacting Ms. Banks, who has the application form. So
Contact
anybody who wants the application form is more than welcome to fill it
Ms.
out.
Banks.
She can email it to them, she can print it out for them.
Can we put it on the website to say that we're taking
Or a
that?
document.
Well, is that possible to put on the website to say that we're taking, we're soliciting applications?
We can put applications on the website as a downloadable and just say that which positions are open. The ordinance we created allots for 5. When you're looking at overall goal, 3 residents, 2 professionals in the field was what I'm looking for.
Okay, so that means one of these individuals is a resident of the village?
Jeffrey.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, please call.
I went,
Trustee Brandon.
yeah, well, I'm concerned about, Eaton's appointment with his role with, just other pieces, from, as it relates to the Maywood, what is it, Healthy Maywood Initiative, or, just the other work that he appears to be doing. For me, it gives a bit of a conflict of interest. The other thing, what I'm concerned about is, we just established this committee. And then there was not enough time frame from when this board established it to, that we just have all these people in front of us. And there was really no marinade through the community to allow other people to show interest in any of these positions. And so, and I mentioned this prior to, when there's any openings on any committee, we just normally see it on the board packet that this particular person is being appointed because there's a vacancy, but we don't get, there's no advertising or promotion. At one point, the board was most certainly involved in identifying residents who want to serve in various capacities within the village. To me, the process seemed very much closed to folks, participating, and you just see a very closed process. And so I do have concerns about this particular person being appointed. I would also like to see a more open process of how we appoint people to not only this particular commission, but any committee or commission. We have a lot of qualified, intelligent residents here in the village of Maywood who most certainly could, function on this particular committee.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams. Aye. Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Jones.
I know, I'm sorry.
Can't hear you.
No, I said I was thinking, I'm sorry. Aye.
Trustee Owsley.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley. Trustee Brandon.
No.
Mayor Booker.
All right, and a motion for proposed appointment to Tashna Roy Donaldson to the Maywood Economic Development and Affordability House Program Board.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Sanchez. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Trustee Owsley. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams. Aye. Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Owsley.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye. I need a proposed appointment of Tamika Bishop to the Maywood Economic Development and Affordability Housing Program Board.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Sanchez. I need a second. Second by Trustee Smiley.
Mayor,
Trustee Jones.
not particularly about this appointment, but I guess 2 additional questions about this committee. When do you anticipate being the first meeting? Be my first, or is one question. The second one, and the board makes, I believe you mentioned that the grocery store was going to be one of their meeting items, correct? Did I get that correct, at the grocery store? Or there was going to be some committee, there's going to be some committee that was going to be reviewing the grocery
The
store?
Economic Development will review it, yeah.
This committee?
That committee will look at it, yeah.
Okay. guess what I would like to do from the board, typically we can task committees with items to review. So I would like to make a proposed task when Living Fresh comes to propose this agreement. I haven't heard definitively yet which approach we're going for. It seemed like it was still debated whether or not we were selling the property or whether or not the village would retain ownership and there'd be some type of management agreement. But I wanted to ensure, one, that that's clarified at that meeting before it came to the board so we could review it. So if we could promote whenever that meeting is, but then also a couple things I'd like to know is in terms of what that management agreement looks like, if we could have that, if there's going to be a management agreement or some sort of purchase agreement, if that could be discussed at that committee. And then if there is a management agreement, and particularly I'm interested who would be responsible ultimately for the profit or loss of this proposed grocery store. It was promoted that it'd be opening in Q3. This is we're in May right now. So
We still on track for Q3?
July, August, or September. So I'm hoping that the meeting can happen, at least a month prior before it gets to the board, so we can flush these things out. And so my recommendation is that those proposals be submitted to this committee so the community can, have that discussion prior to the board making some sort of final decision. And the last thing is that they would request that Living Fresh's, I don't know their fiscal year. I'm going to assume that it's fiscal year 2025, that their financial statements of that fiscal year also be presented at that time.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye. All right, I need a motion to approve consideration to accept the clerk's office fiscal year 27 proposals and updates.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Sanchez,
Second.
second by trustee Owsley,
Mayor.
trustee Brandon.
Again, I just want to encourage the residents and the taxpayers of Maywood to be involved in your government. It is vital and important for you to understand and know where your resources are going and how they're being utilized. I believe that this is, again, just irresponsible for this board and for the clerk's office to be requesting a vehicle.
For what?
Since I've been watching this government, I've never seen a clerk's office into here this evening. Oh, well, they already have the vehicle. Tells me that there's some things out of order and out of whack over there at 40 Madison Street. Because before anybody get anything, this board should have approved it. It should have come before this board. Oh, it's already in the parking spot. Who knew she already had the car? I didn't know. And so for me, it just seems like whatever's happening over there at 40 Madison, it's just a free-for-all, and it's irresponsible for anyone that's working part-time. And the mayor's understandable, but the clerk's office, totally not understandable. And so I will be voting no for that particular reason. It's irresponsible and just a bad use of village resources. Please call the roll.
Use for what?
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Get the hell out of here. Huh?
Aye.
Trustee Owsley.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Absolutely no.
And Mayor Booker.
Aye. All right.
What she needed for?
Old business, this is the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. I need a motion to accept the findings and the fact that the recommendation on the remand for the Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Appeals recommendation of denial of lot size variations for a proposed motor vehicle service and repair use at 109 South 11th Avenue.
Motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Brandon. Need a second? Second by trustee Owsley. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Williams.
Trustee Williams.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Smiley. Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
So what she need to clarify?
Mayor Booker.
She said,
Aye. All right,
Oh, that's
Board
okay.
of Trustees, comments, trustee, Simon, so you have comments?
So, Mayor, I have a residential request. And this might go, should maybe pertain to the village manager, Chief Willis, and Public Works. So from the streets of 19th Avenue, Lexington, 21st Avenue, and 22nd Avenue.
we can't hear you.
So the streets of 19th Avenue, Lexington, 21st and 22nd, we have a stop sign issue. Meaning the people are getting off at 25th, going down Lexington to avoid 290. And they're running these stop signs all hours of the day. I don't know if we can put a car there, or do we change the stop sign with the reflector lights? Also at 22nd and Lexington, there's a park there. And then also a school bus pickup. So there's a major issue there. I brought this up before, but I think we need to reevaluate this and maybe put this out to Public Works to see what they could do, because the summer's approaching and I'm right there at the corner, not the corner, but in the middle of the block. I see the kids in the park, and before we have a major incident, we need to actually look into this. So I don't know if we could put an order in to get these street signs changed.
I would say, trustee, if you could get with Assistant Village Manager Davenport, because they're about to order some more signs around the schools and over there by the parks anyway. So if you could just give Assistant Village Manager Davenport to talk about that.
Thank you.
And then the other, from a police standpoint, just give it the chief
I mean, should we give them to do what, tell them the order?
to talk to them about it. So when there's signs requests, when there's road bumps, track requests, that goes into them looking at the actual traffic study for the village from Hancock that they put together of what the possibilities could be. So that would be them going over to look at the area, seeing what could happen, and coming up with a solution.
I mean, I guess I just want to make sure.
It's ultimately just talking to them about the issue as a trustee.
Okay. So, seems like I've had issues in the past, talking with different staff, so I just want to make sure.
That's it. So he's an assistant village manager.
Right, I mean, but typically, I just want to make sure we're going through the right process.
Submit the email to the village manager.
Right, I just want to make sure, I don't want to be giving mixed signals. So, I have a couple comments I wanted to make. I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Were you done? Okay. One, I appreciate seeing the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals recommendation for old business. I just want to note, I didn't see their recommendation as it related to 30 West Madison when we did this last, like, for the golf range. I don't remember seeing their some of those recommendations.
They were in the packet.
Were they in the package? Okay, well, I'll pause that statement then. So at our last meeting, I had sent, since we are approving committees, I did send the trustees, or I gave the trustees a document about our trustee-led committees and commissions to get feedback that we could provide to the mayor, whether or not we had an appetite to encourage the mayor to start our trustee-led committees or commissions again, or if we we're going to have some sort of official liaison role with some of these other, I'm going to call them advisory committees that have started. And so I guess I just wanted to ask if any of the trustees had any comments on this, because we just approved 3 commissioners for this committee, and they're going to be doing work. Our line items have been vacant for several, I mean, I think pretty much since the new trustees have been here, or since 2025. So I guess I'm wondering, what is the appetite of our trustee committee reports, particularly from the trustees, if that recommendation was made to the mayor or to Ms. Banks, just to kind of hear, is there an appetite? From what I heard, this was expired as of April 2025. I've been talking about it, so I guess I just want to make sure, before I kind of just stop talking to myself, is there an appetite to actually help lead from a, I mean,
Trustee, this is trustee comments and information, this isn't discussion.
Well, I guess I'm making a comment.
Could you email your trustees
I-
and coordinate and talk to them?
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying
This
is
is you making a comment.
All right,
not a
well, I
discussion.
will finish my comment. I know you don't like interrupting, people interrupt. So I just want to make sure I'm making a comment. Is that I gave you all the documentation because as one of your board colleagues, I'm interested in you all verbalizing to the community whether or not you all have an appetite to have these committees. Typically, before things get to the board, you have advisory committees that make recommendations on things. Just for instance, as I was utilizing, or I was saying about the grocery store. Like before we get to us, a lot of those things would be discussed, there'd be recommendations, and the board would make a recommendation or give some sort of report, etc. These committees serve in that same function. Typically in our village management form of government that I've seen across the township, it is accustomed for trustees to lead some of these discussions where they would work with department heads to drive some of these decisions where you kind of owned some of these discussions to make recommendations. And so I guess what I'm asking, since we can't have this discussion right now, is what I'm asking is maybe at our next board meeting, I don't think we're prohibited from making discussion. It's a board of trustees meeting, but just to not belabor this, what I'm asking from each board member is to think about it. I don't mind emailing you all individually, but I'm hoping I can get some feedback from you all in terms of how you all see this. That was a part of, as related to some of the additional, what I understood to be some of the additional tasks that we were going to be taking on or continue. This was one of them. And so, for instance, even like this STAR bond thing initiative, that's something that I think would have went through a Fiscal Accountability and Government Transparency Committee to discuss. Updates on audits, et cetera. Those things are things that type of committee can discuss. Public safety, you just mentioned stop signs and that type of thing. That's something that will be discussed at the committee level, whether it be trustee-led, et cetera. So I would like to see that. That's what I think mirrors most of the communities that have our form of government. It mirrors that. And so I'll reach out to you all individually so we can provide input. Our job is also to provide input as well to the mayor so he knows what our agendas are individually and collectively. So that is
Trustee Brandon.
Yeah, a few comments as it relates to what my colleague just laid out. How any committee or commission works in regards to individuals who serve on any commissions or committees, you continue to serve in that capacity. This whole expiration thing, until you're replaced, you continue to serve in that space. There's no expiration until you are replaced by the members of this board. The first thing. The second thing is, it was my understanding when we were promoting these increases for the members of this board, as well as the mayor and the clerk, that part of that increase included that individuals will be doing more work. And the whole idea that the trustees will be more involved in committees and commissions or what have you, and it's actually less work being done as it relates to the board. And so I'm talking about from the committee and commission's perspective. Is what I'm referring to. I want to be very clear on that. That's what we're talking about right now. And so less work is being done from that perspective. And the whole purpose of the committee and commissions is to net and vet things that come before this board. That is not happening. I don't know if it's intentional, but normally, like, you are able to refer to a colleague that's on the board to get more information pertaining to something because they deep dive into the situation to understand the fullness of it. We're just having things come before us without things being properly netted or vetted. So I believe that in order to make sure that the taxpayers is getting what they're spending their money on and to uphold what was being promoted, doing this whole increased conversation of salaries for, or stipend for the trustees and the mayor and everybody else, most certainly it's time for this, members of this board to get back to work on those committees and commissions to start netting and vetting some of these things that's coming before us. It's just a proper way of doing things. When we get things just thrown on the agenda, we limit the conversation and then we expect it to vote on it. The reason why there's a lot of questions, and the reason why I make sure that I bring all my questions to this dais, because things are not being netted and vetted, and then information is being changed when we're halfway through something. And so to make sure that we keep everybody involved and everybody informed, that's why I operate in the space that I operate in. And so I do believe that there should be, those committees should be established. There are people on this dais with specific experience that lends itself to certain committees, whether it be finance, whether it be youth, whether it be community development, but part of me believes that's intentional, that we not have people part of the conversation because only one person wants to do or appear to be doing all the work, when that's not the case. And so it is my hope that this board step up to the plate and lead.
So let me just say this. Last month in the newsletter that went to everybody's household, there were 12 different community meetings about different topics and different things that are going on. What this board or some members of the board have been tasked with consistently is saying, you already got your salary increase, you're already an elected official, you don't need to be appointed to show up to more community events. You don't need to be appointed to show up to an economic development meeting because we just started the Economic Development and Housing Commission. You don't need to be appointed to go to the Historic Preservation Commission meeting. You don't need to be appointed to go to the Police and Fire Commission meeting. You don't need to be appointed to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. These are all public hearing meetings that are posted on the village website. When we talk about, you mentioned the youth. Trustee, we have the Volunteers Committee, and I want to say when I'm mentioning these committees, these are not mayor grant committees. These are staff members and residents. So residents create the agenda, staff posts them. But if you have our Volunteers Committee, we have our Community Engagement Committee, we have our Safety and Wellness Committee, we have the Economics, Innovation, and Sustainability Department focused on their committee, and you have the Clerk's Office focused on the Neighbors Committee. All of these meetings are posted. All of these meetings are welcome for anybody to come to. There is the entire schedule for the entire summer calendar of activities to go out and get engaged with. There are departments, like the first event that we're having May 30th, to kick off everything in regards to what's going on in the summer. Same way as we did last year when we had those community meetings where every department had a table up, they had a tent up. Based on what part of town you were in, we went to the dog park over on 9th. We went to Standard Park over on 5th and Lexington. We went to Top Lot Park and the block over in North Maywood. We went over to Neighborhood Methodist Church. Those are community engagement opportunities that the departments are letting the residents know what's going on. In reality, the Village of Maywood, if you look at the last two budgets, we have established a community engagement department. So those employees work these committees. I implore to every trustee that hasn't already, get involved with those employees in those meetings, because they're public knowledge of when those meetings will be happening. They're in the newsletters when those meetings will be happening. So I would say realistically, there's nothing to stop you from going to a public hearing meeting. There's nothing to stop you from getting more involved in the community. And I think this whole stance of I want to be appointed to something, you were already elected as a board of trustees. Just do your job.
Mayor,
So we can just.
that's a formal process in place on how we are expected to govern based on the charters of this community. And so those committees exist for a specific reason. And so, like my colleague stated, every other town, like you like to say, in this region, have a trustee on some type of committee. And so it is your purview that you don't want to appoint anybody to anything, but this board most certainly has the role and responsibility that it could do it as well. And so This whole idea, like, we can just join these volunteer groups, volunteer committees. We are elected officials. We talking about a formal process where we can be able to track what's happening, net and vet things, not these volunteer groups that you're talking about. No, we are elected officials. We're talking about official business of the village. Not, just go out there and just be wonderful, be great. Yeah, no. We're talking about official.
Mayor.
I understand what you're saying, trustee, but ultimately, it's not going out the right place.
I'm gonna do what I do.
You voted to hire employees to lead these committees.
Go ahead.
So it's not for you to just take credit for the work that they're doing because you want to say I'm appointed to that committee. They actually do their job and work these committees. If you have an interest in those areas, go to that meeting.
Mayor.
That is how it should be. You don't get to take credit for the work that they do.
Mayor.
No.
That's ultimately what you want an appointment to do. It's not like you're doing anything.
Well, it's about doing work and formal.
I just want to make one more comment.
Sure.
The trustee-led committees and commissions were your idea.
That did not have a recommendation.
They were your idea.
For years.
Let's let me finish. These were your ideas.
Sure.
And so you take ownership of the fact that now this was your idea, and in some ways you're negating and deflecting. So those entities aren't under Open Meetings Act. No type of Open Meetings Act issue. Because if that's the case, why do we have to do this? And some of those advisory committees, there's a process where this is how trustees formally get things on the board. Usually, it's through our advisory committee. So, if you had something that you want to get on the board, you would have the agenda that you can have to put it on the board. If you want to talk about things, you kind of had onus to do that, and then that's how you would segue to the board. Again, there's Open Meetings Act issues, and it's like official government advisory committees. These other committees are somewhat ad hoc in nature. They don't have to abide by Open Meetings Act issues. And actually, if we decided to come and chime in about village meetings or about business, we could be creating some sort of Open Meeting Act issue. If 2 or 3 of us decided to come and we're talking about village business, we actually could be creating some sort of Open Meetings Act issue if that's the purpose of it. So I think that's the reason why, if there are established times where residents can see us work, because some residents actually want to see us do this, and it's not necessarily to take credit for anything. They elected us to do the work. It's not a credit thing. We're their representatives. So and there's things that some residents are more comfortable working with certain trustees than others, or et cetera. But I think so we can prevent some sort of Open Meetings Act issue. You're asking us, well, just go to these committees where the residents and staff are there, and we're meeting at some place and it's closed door. I think we might be creating potential Open Meetings Act issue by doing that, encouraging that if we're speaking about village business. So I think this is where the village board has to chime in, because obviously there's some sort of there needs to be a discussion that's being had, but this actually isn't foreign to us. To some of us it might be, but this actually isn't new. We've actually been doing this for a very long time. It's actually new that we're not doing it, and I think just so you would feel even more comfortable is in council manager forms of government, this is standard actually, whether or not a trustee is leading a committee or a liaison, it's standard, because again, those agendas are posted 48 hours before the meeting happens. There's minutes that are taken. There's formal recommendations. It's a formal process. These committees and commissions could be talking about anything. I haven't. Outside of them working through the department heads, we're not getting formal recommendations, like them coming to the board and formally giving presentations. So I think that's how or even those committees could be coming to our committee meetings and talking about what they're discussing in a formal capacity where it's recorded. So I think in a lot of ways, we've gotten less and less mirroring what our form of government looks like. Even how we do, board meetings, et cetera, and how, if you ask someone a question, the mayor chimes in. And so we've actually gotten further away from how our government has typically worked. So I guess I'll wrap it up just by saying, I'm hoping that my board colleagues would be open to the discussion, so we can make recommendations, you know, to the board in general about how we want to proceed with these formal meetings. But as I mentioned, the Open Meetings Act issue, and I think the attorney would agree, if we are meeting at these meetings, or we're going to these meetings and we're discussing village business behind closed doors, we are likely and potentially creating some sort of Open Meetings Act issue that I don't think we want to do. When there is a formal process already established that the mayor himself introduced and promoted and encouraged, this was his idea where we changed our code. This was his baby. So you have board colleagues that are interested in improving the process. I hope that you'll take a moment not to deflect, but to just allow us to advise you on what we would like to do.
Okay, so in a moment to not deflect, you were the co-chair of the zoning, not zoning, where we were actually focused on feasibility studies to get different ordinances done. You did not do a recommendation for 4 years. So when we say don't deflect,
Which were you referring to?
when you were on the ordinance and policy committee, you guys did not recommend one thing.
That was Ray Williams.
You were the co-chair.
I was the co-chair, so yeah, Ray Williams and I did.
The financial committee meeting that kept staff 3, sometimes 2-3 hours after they've been working all day long, recommended what, 2 things in 4 years? I'm not trying to deflect.
Trustee Sanchez.
I'm just saying, I get
Satchel.
you, but I get the truth. But my reality is here's the truth. What I'm saying is, if it is to look at the commissions that actually do agendas, then most certainly we can talk about that. I will put together a proposal, send it out to you guys. We can get something done before June. But my reality is, we've hired all this staff to do work. Yet we're saying now we want a committee to have them come report to us, because them working their regular job isn't enough for us. We want them to spend time to come see us because we elected. So for me, it's just because it was my idea until you guys didn't recommend very much in 4 years. So at some point in time, you got to pivot.
No, but sometimes people come in there interrupting recommendations.
First of all, I went to maybe 2 meetings
well.
in
You
4 years.
You were, oh no, we can't do that, or you were redirecting things as well.
Again,
so don't say no one do anything.
Let's not
Any of the trustees
in
who
4
on
years,
board,
I attended your infrastructure meeting twice in 4 years.
And Sanchez, we all should be, and Ray Williams, just all should be insulted by your words.
So I need a motion to go into closed session for pending litigation.
Oh my God.
Motion by trustee Sanchez. Second by trustee Yowsley. Please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
He had to go offline.
Yeah, he had to jump off.
That's what they going.
Trustee Sanchez.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
We gotta understand when we're being
Trustee
insulted.
Townsend. Trustee Smiley.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Butcher.
Aye.
Oh my God.
Thank you all very much for coming. We're gonna go into closed session, so the meeting is over once we come out of closed session.